Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 2025 Hawk Tank High School Track. I am Dr. Michael Valdez, and as we start every important event here at Fort Lewis College, I would like to begin with our land acknowledgement. We acknowledge the land that Fort Lewis College is situated upon is the ancestral land and territory of the Ute people who were forcibly removed by the United States government. We also acknowledge that this land is connected to the communal and ceremonial spaces of the Apache, Pueblos of New Mexico, Hopi, and Dene nations. It is important to acknowledge this setting because the narratives of the lands in this region have long been told from dominant perspectives without full recognition of the original land stewards who continue to inhabit and connect with this land. Thank you for your attention and respect in acknowledging this important legacy. Thank you so much. So, high school track, super excited. We have some really amazing ideas that will be presented. I want to do a couple shout outs and thank yous before we start. Number one, I want to give a big thank you to Alpenglow Properties, who is our sponsor for the high school track. I also would like to give a big shout out to our judges, Josh Bishop, Robert Martinez from Zia Drones, actually past Hawk Tank winners, and as well as from San Juan College, Dr. Ihab Ahmed. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us today. Thank you for all your time, all your efforts. We greatly appreciate it. Now, without further ado, I will send it over to our Hawk Tank Ops team, and we'll start the high school track. Good luck, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Our first presenters are going to be Green Clothes Design.
Hi guys. Okay. Ready? Hi guys, my name is Gabriella Cohen,
My name is Mary Coyle.
and we are the founders and creators of the eco-friendly, fashion-friendly, 100% unique brand, Green Clothes Designs. So first, just a little bit about me. I am not originally from Durango. I was actually born in a foreign country. I was born in Scotland, and I've moved around a bunch. But as I've moved around, my family has kept one idea pretty central, and that was just kind of educating me on the effects of global warming and pollution in our planet. Whether it's them telling me what to put in my body and what's harming our environment, or cycling more, walking more to reduce greenhouse gases, I've just always kind of like held this idea pretty central. When I was 11 or 12, I protested against climate change at the Capitol in Washington, D.C., and I've just always kept this idea really central. So that's why I ended up creating Green Clothes Designs.
I was actually born and raised in Durango, Colorado, and if you've lived here for any time at all, you know that it has great opportunity and access to the outdoors, hiking, biking, skiing, rafting, you name it, I've done it. So I've been able to be in the outdoors pretty much my entire life, but also living here, I've kind of been able to see firsthand the impacts of climate change and global warming. I think I've had to evacuate 3 or 4 times under fire evacuation threats because, you know, the climate was weird and it was dry because of global warming. I have done things on a smaller scale. I participated in Southwest Conservation Corps, which was kind of promoting sustainable practices on a smaller scale, but Green Clothes Designs would be an amazing opportunity to make sustainability nationwide.
That's not working.
It's not working, but that's need. And it's super easy when you're online shopping to just click a button and get the clothing, but oftentimes when it comes, it ends up being ill-fitting. So our company would be focusing on these people because it would be clothing that they actually want and kind of making you think about the clothing choices that you're making, because a lot of the times that clothing that you just order haphazardly ends up in the landfill anyway, or you get rid of it as soon as you get it because it doesn't fit. We are planning on reaching out to these people and kind of getting that demographic of people through social media, because we want to focus on fast fashion, and we know that kind of a younger generation is the people who are most susceptible to, like, oh my gosh, I want to fit in, I'm gonna get that clothing because she has it. So we know that most of the younger generation is on most social media platforms, so that is where we would be focusing our marketing to get that group. But obviously, we are open to any demographic of people.
We understand that saying that we are the nation's first is a pretty big statement, but from our research, there is no brand out there that is doing exactly what we're doing. We have online platforms such as Etsy where you can get your own ideas, but they're not using recycled clothing. And on the other end of the scale, you have brands such as Depop, which are just doing, like, it's like an online thrift store. So there's no brands that completely tailor to you and use your brands while also keeping it super eco-friendly. And on top of that, just the clothing industry, it's ever changing. Like, I saw bell bottoms come back for a while, which haven't been back since like the 80s or the 70s. So if you want to keep up with the fast fashion trends without constantly having to buy new clothes and throw away new clothes, Green Clothes Designs is totally for you.
We're also really special in that all of our material, we're not producing it in a factory, which is, again, lots of carbon emissions, really bad. But we are taking material that was already made by other companies and using it for our own company, which is really, really sustainable, because we did some research, and about over 80% of textiles that are produced by companies end up in the landfill, which is an insane amount of waste, and honestly, for companies, makes the margin of profit even smaller. We are making sure to cut out that unnecessary cost and unnecessary waste by using customer old clothing.
So, we're gonna give you a little hypothetical situation here. So, our customer submitted 3 pairs of jeans. Maybe they're too big on her, maybe she just doesn't like the way they fit, but she really wanted a checkered skirt after that. So we took these jeans, she sent them into Green Clothes Designs, and we made her a design that's going to be tailored perfectly to her. On top of that, it's going to be super eco-friendly, and she gets a brand new skirt and is saving closet space because these would just be sitting in her closet otherwise. So obviously that skirt isn't done yet, because we honestly didn't have time, but you can see how it's made from these jeans and it's good material, and this way she gets a new item that she's actually gonna love wearing instead of just having jeans sitting in her closet.
This way you can kind of see the entire design process that's in the process of being made, but we have another shirt that we made that is, you can take a look if you want. It's fully made, and it is available for, everyday use. You could wear it to school, you could wear it on the streets. This one's for a girl, so I don't know whether you guys would want to, but it's everyday wear. But we also can make things that are not for everyday wear, such as Halloween costume parties or a day at the beach. We are there for whatever you need, which is really cool, because most companies are either for Halloween and special occasions, or they're for everyday use, and we are for everything, which is awesome.
So, just so you guys can get a little bit more of a feeling of what our company is like, this is a link to a functional form, something that a customer would fill out. You can see kind of what the process would be like if you're requesting items, and on top of that, there's also a link to our mock website, so you can kind of see what that would look like too. So if you want to scan that, go for it. We also understand that anybody who's submitting this might not be tailors, they might not be seamstresses. So we also have a link to a video of how to take accurate measurements so that your clothes can be completely tailored to you.
We obviously understand that this is a very rudimentary form of what we could possibly achieve if we had more time and funding, but this is a pretty good idea of like customer relationships because we want to make sure that we're there for the customer by providing them with designs and information because we obviously know that not everyone's an expert in this field. And that in turn builds customer relations because they are providing us with clothing and business and we are providing them with the clothes that they want. So that's kind of an example of kind of what we use, materials, information from the customer and how that's connected to our business.
So if you want to keep your closet 100% sustainable, super unique, and incredibly fashionable, choose Green Clothes Designs for all of your next fashion needs.
Yes. It's for your your clothes, your style, for our planet. Thank you.
Yes. Do you just questions?
Yeah, so I have a question. I read the paper that you guys submitted on Canvas, and I think it's a very cool idea how to change something that may be thrown in the garbage into something that people will wear. But my biggest worry was the amount of time and the cost it's gonna take to tailor an already existing piece of cloth into another one. It's even faster and cheaper if you start from the scratch, from a piece of fabric and tailor it, than adjusting an existing one, you know what I mean? So that's my question. Can you refresh my memory about how much you expect that to cost the person?
Yeah, so here's kind of an outlet, like a layout for
Okay,
what we're
let's
planning for
say,
the
for
first
example,
year.
a shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, so our prices, so this is year one. Year one, we're just really planning on just like doing it ourselves because we can't really take employees at that time. We think our prices are pretty good for exactly what we're doing. If we're not using like any child labor, we're making it all sustainably. This is a pretty standard price for most items on the market.
Right, but if we focus on one of the items, you know, let's say for example a shirt. You have shirts and the number 39 is how much it will cost the shirt
Yes.
owner to remodel it?
Yes.
Okay, so do you guys have any specific data on how long it takes in hours for a tailor to remodel a shirt, or what's the average wage of a tailor per hour? You know, because this is very technical, so it needs to be a bit more specific.
Yeah.
From my experience, it's way more expensive to go to a tailor and, you know, like design something than buy it ready, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, but we do have eliminated costs from the fact that we're not actually producing any new material, which is nice because it costs a lot of money to do
Right.
that. Also, in the first couple years, we're probably going to be self-paid, which means
All of our
all
any
of our
money.
expenses are kind of internal, and so we don't
So-
really.
Yeah, are you hiring tailors or you?
We will at some point.
At
end up
some point,
hiring-
once our,
hiring tailors, yeah.
Revenue becomes big enough to support providing a wage for
Yeah,
those
so
people.
I think this point, because it's the kind of hardest point to sell. The idea is novel and beautiful, but this part, there is a lot of devils in the details of these things, you know?
Yeah,
And even people who are more environmental conscious, and you are right to expect that the younger generation is more expected to care about this than older generations. But even for that younger generations, there is limit for how much money I can sacrifice to save the environment, you know?
Yeah.
So you just want to make sure this is doable. But my point is, keep the idea, but maybe as an adjustment, to think of your business as clothes swapping. That will save you the cost of tailoring and remodeling, you know. So you will be just the link point between me and Josh, that each one of us have a piece of clothes that the other wants, you know. In
Yeah,
this
that's
case, you will be just swapping, and that save you all the cost of tailoring and remodeling and all the time that comes with it, you know.
That's a super interesting idea. I think
Yeah.
yeah, that would be an interesting way to think about having cost saving. But most of our business is focused on tailoring, and I don't know, it takes maybe 2 hours to tailor a shirt. It's especially if we have the material and it's already outlined as a shirt, it probably won't take as much time as it may seem because we have kind of the outline of the shirt made for us already.
Yeah,
But if we didn't profit, that would be a super interesting idea to swap that out. Thank you.
I could be wrong about my assumptions, but I just want to bring it to your attention because this is if you take your project to an actual investor, asking them to invest some money, so you need to debunk all of these devils,
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
that this is not actually gonna cost an arm and leg for the person to use it, but the idea itself is beautiful, actually, yeah,
Cool, thank you so much.
sure.
Great idea, guys. I just had a question. So I ideally don't have the best fashion sense and I don't come from that realm. Are you guys gonna be providing any kind of like on your platforms, something where somebody that doesn't know a lot about fashion, like maybe, hey, this is kind of more the growing trends, you should maybe consider these types of clothings? Is that something that you would build?
Yeah, if you actually go, there's a link, it's might be kind of hidden on one of the questions, it's a link to a website, and it kind of has like a browse, and that is full of fashion, like, trends that are currently happening for like each section, so jackets, shirts, pants, dresses, and also we have another thing called designs, which is a template for that mostly has kind of fashion forward designs that you can submit for what clothing you want us to turn it into. So if you look on the website, it kind of has a support system for people who aren't as well informed about.
Yeah, we understand that, if you wanna buy a new jacket, you don't just wanna like sit down and brainstorm your ideas. So we do make recycled clothing so that you don't have to think of that idea.
Thank you.
Thanks for presenting, guys. I just have a real quick question. So, how long did it take to design like the pants and that like shirt for?
These pants took me like 45 minutes.
45 minutes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe less.
Gotcha.
Obviously, if they were like a more complex pattern, like if they were like different pieces of fabric everywhere, that would take longer. But we also do charge for additional material.
Okay.
If you see right here, extra designs, they just cost a little bit more. So if you want like a pair of jeans, but you want us to put a bunch of different patches on them, that's just gonna cost a little bit more because it is taking more time.
So if I like went through the website and I like sent you guys design or what I was wanting, let's say I wanted pants, a jacket, and maybe 2 or 3 accessories. Let's go with 4. How long would it take like from me sending you guys the design to me having it like shipped to me and in my home?
I'd estimate like a week.
A week and a half,
week and a
maybe to
half,
account
yeah.
for shipping time,
Gotcha.
but yeah.
How about
It's-
for like a company order? Let's say they want like over 75 shirts and 75 sweatshirts or 75 jackets.
Since in the beginning it's just us, that would probably take longer, like 2 weeks. But if it is like just a standard shirt, like a t-shirt with a logo on it, it might be faster because we're not doing any special designs. So it might honestly be a similar amount of time as if you want a super complex jacket.
I think there's something very important about your idea. It's the amount of water you save. Because I think I read that recently. It's almost to make one shirt of cotton, first you need to plant to grow the cotton, right? And then pick it, and then just to grow enough cotton to make one t-shirt, it's almost equal to the amount of water a human can use in the whole year.
Exactly.
Just to
Yeah.
make one shirt.
And for most companies, that cotton shirt ends up in the landfill without it even being bought in the first place. So
So I think this is really a great idea, but mainly you think the market is gonna be local since it's only you, the 2 of you.
yeah, to
You don't
start
expect
out.
to serve all America from the beginning, right?
No,
No,
that would be
absolutely,
definitely
yeah.
far projecting in the future. So
Yeah.
We were also maybe talking about in the future, because people thrift shop, and the people who do thrift shop kind of are going to have the same mindset of someone who would buy from this brand. So even like working with thrift shops, not only for them to provide clothes to us, but also in like marketing sort of ways, like posters or something like that, so that we can get the word out to more
Yeah,
people.
and that is probably also how we would market a little bit, and that's why they would be on a partnership with us, is because we would market their clothing and maybe have even a section on our website that's like, hey, you don't want a new design completely tailor-made, but here's Goodwill online thrift store that you can buy from instead. That way that they're incentivized to keep partnership with us, because we would want it to be a mutual relationship.
Thank you very much.
I have one more question. So again, I'm not really familiar with the fashion world, sorry. So when you guys take recycled materials, is there any kind of like copyright or licensing that you have to worry about? Say if you take Levi jeans and you alter them with the Wrangler jean, does that have any kind of copy infringement with the seller from those companies?
No, I think you can just use their materials. However, there might be something where keeping the brand name is not allowed, but you can use their materials to make it. I don't know, it's Etsy, right? Where you remake clothes and sell them.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been on Etsy, but it's kind of like that where people remake clothes. It's not quite like ours because it's not tailored. It's just like, oh, I made this, you can get it if you want it. But they usually have old clothing from brand names.
This is a worry if they launch their own line, and that line is taking the design or the name of an already existing product. But in your case, you're not launching you're not launching your own line of clothing, you just alter what already exists.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's,
And
We're not
like,
exactly copying their design or their clothing at all.
and like this skirt that I ended up making, it like there's 3 different types of brands of jeans on there, and you would like never know because it's just like the pants and the.
So how would you, in that situation, because if you did have that, people can ask for certain types of designs, if they were wanting something to match maybe a top, lined article of clothing, how would you go about that?
Yeah, so they would probably leave like a comment like, hey, I really want it to match this certain colored shirt. This is what the shirt looks like. Like we have options on our form to like send in pictures and give detailed descriptions. And then because of our partnership with local thrift stores, whatever materials they don't send in, we can just compensate for. So we try to get it just like as accurate as we want.
Thank you, guys.
Any other questions?
Yes. Actually, I do have one more,
Yeah.
so I was curious just again with you guys, like why do you guys believe you guys are like the right team to like make this business succeed? Where is like kind of like, why are you guys kind of like, with your passion and everything kind of?
Yeah, so we kind of ended up creating this idea just kind of on a whim in a class. And when we were thinking of business ideas, it was an assignment, it was like create a business. And every single idea we thought of, like people around us, they're like, we're creating scooters and we're creating new sneakers. And every single idea we came up with was all eco-friendly. It was either do with electricity, water, climate change, because we kind of understand that we need to adapt with the world as it's changing. And so if we're creating clothing that's just gonna contribute more and more to waste, we're not changing with the times. So I feel like we just are really conscious about.
Yeah, and we're both super passionate about it. I mean, I spent a month of my summer basically just camping in the outdoors, just remaking trails, making places for water runoff to go, like making sure things are sustainable. So I think if we had the time, we would both be committed to making this website work and making this company work.
cool. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, it was nice meeting you.
Thank you guys.
I don't know, I guess we'll have to ask them if we're supposed to. Do you guys want us to go ahead and start to the scores?
We have like 5 minutes till the next one.
Oh, okay.
Is that-
So it's supposed to be a 15-minute presentation, and then you guys have 5 minutes to answer questions.
Sorry.
Or else we're good.
Okay, so 5
Well, I
minutes,
think
you got it.
According to this, start at 9:20, and it is 9:20.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though, but they only took 10 minutes for the presentation, so we
Ah,
had 10 minutes for questions.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
This is how I'm rolling.
Now my question is, should we redo the quiz only if we have updates?
Redo the quiz.
I
Hey,
mean, we already scored them,
Yeah.
already graded them.
okay. Yeah, usually it's like after you ask the questions, you're gonna score them.
I was like, the answer 0 ones, and I was like,
But
And I don't
how
know what
about
quiz
if
is
my
for.
convection did not change based on the presentation?
Yeah, it would stay the same, is my guess, man.
They come back in for their scores?
I don't think they can,
So I'm
yeah,
just
they'll get them
asking,
later.
how about if the presentation doesn't change my mind?
So,
Okay,
We should keep what we have already.
you can if you'd like to, yeah.
Remember some of the
Yeah.
tickets,
What is that?
brands, started off in people's basements? Right, Gary just, that's.
Yeah,
it's all
that's how it is, yeah. I still
I don't know what
trust
it's at.
several hours I spent reading their writing. I trust that more than presentation, honestly, so. At least for this team, I'm keeping them as is. Okay? But you know what, maybe a good strategy is to see where you grade them very low. And ask them about that, see if their answer will make a change.
At any time during the competition, are we allowed to go back and rechange? Or once we submit these orals, they're locked in?
I'm assuming they're probably locked.
Locked
once
in?
you,
Okay.
submit them.
How much time do we have left, just to kinda,
So we have like 3 minutes before the next one.
Yeah, the next one is 9:25. Apps.
okay, that's fair. That's fair. Wait, where are we at?
oh, and we're involved with the audience.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and spit.
Alright,
So 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Just buzz us, just like, hey, no, it's too long. Hit the wrap up button.
Thank you.
Just a couple minutes. Okay, our next team is called Apps. So,
Hi guys, okay, so our name is Apps. I'm Marley. I'm currently a sophomore at DHS. I'm a part of our volleyball and soccer team. I also play these sports as a club, and I'm part of our DECA club, which is kind of like a business club we have at DHS. I'm Amanda Hall. I'm also a sophomore at Durango High School. I participate in my school soccer team and DECA club. And this year I've just kind of grown a love for business and taken a lot more interest in it.
Yeah, I'm also a sophomore. I'm Nicolina Lasher, and I'm also involved in DECA, HOSA, and FCA, and I play tennis and do track. And I also just love business and hope to do it in college and throughout the rest of high school.
Okay, so our overview of our business is App is a restaurant that only serves appetizers. It serves a various amount of them. It's based all in Colorado with locations kind of varying from places like Durango and Telluride and stuff like that. One of our main goals would be to partner with Colorado sports teams such as the Broncos, the Nuggets, the Rapids, and more. This would give us a way to interact with our community and give back, but also just have fun events related to those. But overall, we just want to have a positive community while offering yummy and healthy food. So we have two main problems that we want to solve. One of them is the percentage of obese people in America. It's 39.6%. A lot of meals at restaurants are typically pretty large portions, and people just either feel the need to eat all of it, or they don't want to waste it, or they end up wasting it, which is another one of our problems. Around half a pound of food is wasted per meal. This contributes to just a lot of waste and just a lot of unfinished food. And then, so for our solutions, we would use a lot of local farms such as Colorado Farm to Market and Prosper Meats, which are just farms around Colorado, and we would get our meats and vegetables and fruits from there to try and make it organic, local, and just more healthy. And then we also would have portion control, so we're doing appetizers. We have appetizers and they can range from different sizes, but overall, like, you can get 2 or 3 and it'll be enough. But if you don't want that much food, you can also have 1. And then we also just will have health within our appetizers, so we will have appetizers with much vegetables and healthy meats, just to have it healthy. So our unique value proposition, we overall just want to have a consistent restaurant that's affordable and fun. We want to cater a wide variety of tastes, and we want to help Colorado just have a bigger menu, I guess. Yeah, and some of our goals is just to be affordable, consistent, delicious, and local. We really want to give back to the community.
Okay, so our competitive advantage, so some things that we hope to do to like make us stick out a little bit more is we want to have like really strong relationships with our community. So by partnering with like our sports teams, we're hoping that like people can be like, oh, like they're well with our sports teams, like maybe we'll come in here and then build strong relationships. And then also what's gonna set us apart is like we're the only like restaurant that'll gonna take this approach at the food industry. So we're gonna only sell the appetizers, which is kind of a risk we're gonna take, but it's gonna be good and we're hoping we're gonna benefit from it. And then our key metrics, we're gonna measure things like, would you come back? Would you like, how'd you find out about us? What dish was your favorite? Would you like to see any other dishes? Like what games would you like to see us play? And then we're gonna also measure like what dishes people are liking and what they're not by seeing like what's selling, what's not, and compare that so we can be overall very successful with what's on our menus. And then our customer segment, so for our primary market, we're gonna target young adults who like going to bars, watching sports. So those people are gonna be like very interested in our foods, very interested in the games, so we're hoping to target them. And we're gonna advertise to them through like Facebook, word of mouth, and Twitter, because social media is really popular right now, and those are the social media platforms we see them using the most. And then for our secondary market, we're going to target teenagers. So we're gonna have arcade games, board games, like sports games, all that kind of stuff. So it's gonna hopefully be appealing to them. And less more of like the food, more of like the game side of everything. So we're hoping to target them through like TikTok and other like Instagram and other little social media things like that, as well as just through their friends at school.
Kind of just like going off of what Marley just said, the channels we hope to promote our business from are mainly just social media, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. That's just how we can mainly reach our primary and secondary markets. And then also just advertisement through like local radio stations, like the main one is partnering with those sports teams. So like during their games, like we can have those banners like up and just with our restaurant. And then also just collaborating with just people in the community is what we want to do the most. And then our revenue streams, our physical restaurants is in our various locations are our main revenue stream. This is just where people will place their orders, come in to dine, just anything like that. And then also just through our website online is what we hope to also have. So we can do online orders through like DoorDash and then just donations as well. Our cost structure. So these are just ways that we would hope to make money. We want to be open every day through the week, 11 to 9, Monday through Thursday, and then Friday through Sunday, we want to do 11 to 4. I think is what that's supposed to say, sorry, 11 to 4, and that's just like a great way to just get our local community like during the weekend, especially because we do want to advertise those sports games, so we hope to have events during the weekend with sports games where people can just come watch and just have our appetizers and our foods and stuff. And then also that menu in front of you, that's just one example of like our lunch menu we'd hope to have. We also have dinner appetizers and dessert appetizers, but also those are just like some foods during lunch that we would offer. And they are smaller portions because they're appetizers, but you can get as many as you want or as little as you want, and that is just like cutting down how large of meals people get and then might not finish, and hopefully they just finish it and like there's no takeout or anything like that. Then that's mainly it for all of that stuff.
So overall, Apps is just a restaurant, and our just main goal is to kind of interact with the community and give back. But we also just want to have a fun community that offers a lot of games and TV and stuff like that. And we want people to just have a fun time while at our restaurant while eating yummy and healthy food, that they don't feel like guilty for eating, and just have a good community. And yeah.
Thank you guys. Do you have any questions?
Do you want to start?
Sure. First of all, now I'm really hungry. Yeah, it looks really great. And are you guys just kind of thinking of just like wanting to be the Denver area, or like where were you really wanting to start your operations, I guess?
I think kind of like our main restaurants would be located in Denver just because it's like the most populated, but we'd also want to have maybe one in Durango since it's where like we've all grown up, and then possibly like Telluride since it's pretty like big tourist, but definitely a couple locations in Denver.
Awesome. Have you guys looked into like the other competitors that might be offering that same kind of structure where appetizers and games and tailored to sports?
A lot of like restaurants, like breweries and stuff like that, of course they do sports and then appetizers and then like, but they also have more food on their menu, whether we're like specifically just doing appetizers, and we haven't really found any other restaurant that like just does appetizers. And it's like for each meal of the day, so it's like lunch, dinner, dessert, and like it's just no, we haven't really seen anyone else that does that. And like we said, like it just depends how hungry you are when you come to our restaurant. Like you can get as many appetizers as you want, or you can get one, and that's just also a problem that like we said we'd hope to solve, because at those other restaurants people are getting like dinner and then they just don't finish it. Whether with us they can try one thing, if they're still hungry they can get more and stuff like that. So but yeah.
Yeah, it's really smart. Like the idea that just kind of gets them in.
Yeah.
Next on to the next. Great idea. Thank you guys.
Real quick, kind of like, could you guys kind of like describe your guys' background in terms of like with the food, and maybe just kind of what roles you guys are gonna take stepping forward into the restaurant?
Well, like my background is food. My dad loves cooking, and he always has all his friends over, and they all cook together. I've been raised around like good food, so I'm just really a part of like kind of healthy eating, like being in sports too. So we also kind of want to have like good food. Like we don't want to just be like, oh, here's like 30 mott steaks, like go eat that. Like here's some like chicken wings. Like we want to like also have like those healthier options. So that's kind of like important to me. Is like bring that into it, and also like being in Durango where everyone's doing stuff. But I would probably want to do more of like the marketing side of things. So like advertising us, like showing people like what our dishes are, telling them like why we're so unique and like all of that, and then just like more like advertising like who we are.
Yeah. For me, my family, my dad's a celiac, so he can't have gluten, and my mom's a vegetarian, and my sister's also vegetarian for a while. So in our house, it's kind of hard to find like, and I'm pretty picky myself, so it's kind of hard to find food that everyone likes and that they can eat. So normally we'll have like one meal for like me, my dad, and my sister, and then one for like my mom. But at our restaurant, kind of like one of my main goals is to like include those people with different restrictions, whether it's like vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, or just something like that, or they just don't want to eat something. So I would kind of like focus on having a wide variety that is available for multiple people, and just like their preferences, and also just like their dietary restrictions.
Me, I grew up baking and cooking. My dad cooks the meals and my mom and brother just eat them. But yeah, I just grew up like since I was little just cooking dinner meals with my dad and doing some by myself. And then I also bake with my friends a lot, and I mainly do like cakes. Like I've entered in a couple competitions like our local fair and won in that, and just like yeah, I just have a baking and cooking background that I love doing. So yeah, when we were making our project, we definitely just thought of that, and like everyone loves food, so it's like a nice project to do. So yeah.
We also all love sports, so we wanted to incorporate that.
Yeah, that as well.
Yeah, I just have one comment about Robert's point. In one hand, it's great if you start from a customer pain that you already have it. So, for example, let's say, for example, you are a single mom, and then you have a certain problem with the baby, and then you come up with a business idea that help moms in your situation, for example. In this case, you share the customer pain, and it's a very good starting point, you know, because you will be authentic about it, and you know how a person in that situation feels. So this is one side of starting from a personal need or a personal pain, you know. But it also have, it may have a drawback, or let's say a disadvantage, which is feeling that whatever I feel or believe is going to apply to the customers, which is not always safe, you know. So this idea that I personally have this need, so I want to start my business idea from there, you know. It's good in one hand because it puts you in the shoes of the customer who share the same problem you have, you know. But on the other hand, it may cloud your judgment about the customers, and you start feeling that since I feel this, then everybody else will feel it. And you know, you are not making the business to feed yourself, right?
Yeah.
You need to guarantee there is enough market for it. So my point is, if you're gonna take that to a more serious level of start thinking of pitching this for a potential investor, you need to come up with some hard facts about the potential customers, you know?
Yeah.
What's their income, how much they are willing to pay for the meals you suggested, you know? How many of them you have in the market you think of, for example, is like Farmington the market you think of so far, or bigger than Farmington?
Just like Colorado
Oh,
areas.
Colorado in general?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you need to find some statistics about Colorado in general. What's the average income? And you know, not every income level maybe can afford this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think you may have a lot of luck with working class. There are a lot of families who struggle with feeding their kids, leave alone feeding them quality food, you know? So you need like some hard facts, because usually the market is one of the biggest issues that make an investor suspecting, you know. So you just want to make sure your idea is realistic by providing some facts that this is the number of people who have this level of income, and they have this and in average they spend this amount on food or groceries, you know, and this is how I price it, and I expect to have this many of them, you know.
Yeah.
And the final thing is also to align your product with the need, because yes, maybe there are enough number of potential customers who are looking for healthy food and they can afford it, you know. After you find evidence for all of that, you also want to find evidence that what you provide is what they are looking for. Because just because they has this need, that doesn't mean your restaurant will necessarily fulfill the need. You also need to discuss it with them and make adjustment to your menu based on what they say, and this may take like 3 stages of adjustment. You make the adjustment, you ask them again, then they may correct you, and then you ask them again, you know? Yeah, so these are the 2 main points you need to focus on to convince any investor, you know?
Okay.
That there is market, there are people who are looking for this, they can afford it, there is enough number of them for us to make profit, you know? And they are fine with what we're gonna provide.
Yeah, totally. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
sure.
Thank you guys.
Thank you
Let
so
us-
much.
Let us know when you open up that Durango branch.
Thank you.
We have 10 minutes till the next one.
Sorry, I don't know if that makes sense. Sorry. So, okay. No, I agree. I agree. I agree. Gosh. Look. I agree.
So I think what we need to grade for everyone is the oral presentation.
Correct, yes, sir.
Mm.
Yep.
The other one is only future updates based on the presentation.
Correct, and I think they had mentioned that you can go back and change that one if you need to. The
Right.
oral ones, I think they lock in pretty much after all of them are judged, so yeah.
Mm. So
I come up with the idea of making an app called Rent to Teachers. So yeah. Where did this idea come from? The idea of Rent to Teachers came from like personal experience of either my parents being renters and landlords, and while also my family's in the education like all over Durango, and so we've had talks about how teachers and like community service people struggle finding homes in their first year of work. And so then I was like, let's take that of them having a hard time finding a house, and then like also helping our community and being able to like match that and make it to work together. And so I also saw that many landlords struggle to find ways to get tenants and keep them, and then often struggles to find tenants who are truly invested in their community. And so Rent to Teachers bridges these gaps and while connecting essential workers like teachers and first responders. And that's where we'd start and make it affordable housing while helping landlords find reliable tenants and community-minded tenants. So yeah. The problem. So nearly 30% of renters struggle to find affordable housing. 20 to 30% of new teachers face housing insecurity in their first year. And so landlords also, over 20% of them deal with long vacancies and unreliable tenants. So Rent to Teachers would help bridge these gaps by connecting service professions with homes and community-focused housing social solutions, benefiting both tenants and landlords. So what sets Rent to Teachers apart? So Rent to Teachers is an online platform via website or app. So we are very much different from Zillow. The question I get is, how are you different from Zillow? Zillow is basically just focused on just trying to get a house sold or renters. This app helps like get people more like community minded, and it makes it easier and cheaper and affordable at the same time, taking that stressfulness of being a landlord or renters trying to find homes easier and have better access. And it connects them with affordable, tailored housing options while allowing landlords to list properties and set preferences. And then we live in a day of AI, like it's getting up there. So we're gonna use that to our advantage by using AI-driven matching. The platform fosters sustainable, inclusive communication, and by linking reliable tenants with their homes they need, So yeah. What sets Rent to Teachers apart? Rent to Teachers is apart. What sets Rent to Teachers apart is its focus on service professionals. So like military, first responders, teachers. We're very big on that, like community, building the community bigger. And then especially those new to the workforce, changing careers. So like a brand new teacher who's looking for a house in their new community town. So these individuals often struggle to find stable homes and affordable housing, limiting their ability to serve their communities in their best way. And so by meeting these needs, the platform creates a social and economic value for both essential workers and landlords seeking dependable, community-focused tenants. How it works. So how Rent to Teacher works is tenants, they create a platform of like their budget, where they're living, or what job they do, and their lifestyle needs. And landlords list their properties and their term leases so they can see them before they sign the lease. And then amenities, I think I said that right. So, and tenants' criteria, so what they want their tenants to be able to do and how, if they can take care of the house, if they have a pet, and et cetera. Advanced matching, so we'll use AI algorithm matching users based on commute, lifestyle, and property features, personal dashboards, so like shows top matches with compatible scores. It's verified users' identity, so it's very like privacy also. We take that into consideration, and clear pricing and a dual review system build. To build community trust. And then support tools like digital lease, automated payment systems, and maintenance requests, and in-app messaging simplifying the rent process. So yeah. And then the last one is neighborhood forums, help users connect and share local tips. So like they can get the inside of the new neighborhood they're in and get to know the community before they even get there and of what it's like. Our purpose, addressing the housing gap for service professionals. Target market, service industry professionals, teacher, firefighters, military, police, even eventually hopefully college students, because I don't know about you guys, but like when I'm not in college yet, but looking on, I'm like, I'm gonna need a place to live if I go to college and when I go to college. And so I'm like, I need an easier way to be able to get that and access it. And so this will help with that. Our unique value proposition, we're tailored housing solutions that foster community connections and mutual benefits to renters and landlords. There's subscription-based landlord service and tiered tenant access options. So yeah, our operation features secure AI-driven platform. Again, we're really like trying to keep going with the technology, stay with it, and so we're gonna use that AI to our advantage of like helping match landlord to tenant, so like it's pretty much perfect, and it makes it so much easier for them to not have that tension between them. And communication and payment tools, and then there's membership tours, tiers integrated into that. So our primary targets, again, entry-level teachers, education support staff, first responders, paramedics, etc., and other essential workers seeking affordable housing and tailored to their needs. So whatever they need, hopefully this app will provide that for them, and it'll make their lives hopefully easier in that stage. And then particularly in areas with higher housing costs. Right now, Durango is really expensive to live in, and so we're gonna try to bridge that, make it easier for them to they'll get the job, and then we'll make the housing process of that for them easier, if that makes sense. Landlords, owners with properties who value reliable tenants and want to support their community. Durango's also a very community-based town, and our events are like very community-oriented. We want everybody involved, so we'll try to get everybody involved in that. And then service professionals live in their own towns and wish to minimize vacancy periods. So that's for landlords. And then property management firms, organization managing multiple properties, looking to reduce turnover and optimize rental occupancy. So, and then here's how we'll make our money, our revenue stream. There's the basic free tier. You get access into the app, including search and limited communication features. And then there's the premier access, which is $10 a month, and for limited searches and full communication and priority access to new listings. So a new listing, you get the premier access. You're like, that one, okay, you'll be the first one to see it when it pops up on the app or website. Pay per service, so every time you want to like check and see, like check the app and be like, oh, I want to look at this house, you can pay $5 for that. And then basic listing for landlords, it's basic listing, renewable monthly, $15. Premium listing, $30 a month, for priority visibility to see who's looking for a home and all that. And then future tags and analytics, so you get all your like statistics, excuse me. And then there's the subscription model, $75 a month, for unlimited listing with enhanced features. So like full communication and all that. And then there's the add-ons, you can get background checks for tenants, rental agreements, rental agreement templates, so like it makes it easier for you to fill out your application. And then incentives for landlords who list multiple properties or opt for longer term subscription. And then there's like free trials, so to get people to look deeper into the app. And then our competitive advantage, again, our AI-driven matching. We're trying to stick to that, and learning to refine search results and based on users' preferences. And then community engagement. We're really trying to focus on the community and build a strong community through that. And then our integration of financial education tools. And so rental, insurance options, and rent-to-own pathways for long-term stability. And then here's what I made a mock-up of what it would look like. And so basically, when you would open the app, it'd look like this. Like get started, and then it'd just tell you what our website and how it works. And then it'd show you like a few options as examples. And then there's 4 steps of how do you wanna log in, the ways to get into our app. And then it shows properties. Then our contacts at the bottom. So, yeah. So Hawks, I am seeking $5,000 in seed funding to build and launch the app and website with contracted developers. Run target marketing to grow users adoption so everybody gets to know about it. And then support systems for strong users experience. And your investment helps give teachers and first responders a place to call home, because this isn't just about rentals, it's about building a community. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. I just had a quick question. So I was curious kind of about your background, just kind of wanted to tell me a little bit about yourself and
yeah,
kind of the role you want to bring to the company.
So I've lived in Durango for 10 years. I was adopted, and so I moved here when I was 6, and then my parents, my dad's a principal here, and then my whole family, like extended families in the education system of Durango and Bayfield and all around the area, and my great-grandparents worked here. And so like, also we're very involved in the community. In March, we hosted the Celtic Festival here, and so at the concert hall. And I just like to be able to help the community and love working with other people of like, who have that same idea. And so, and like educators, they are deep in my heart. So I'm like, how can we make their job easier by making it less stressful in a way, I guess. And my goal, once I'm out of high school, I want to be like a businessman and like find ways to help the community and work through them, because I want to eventually start my own like sports complex. I'm an athlete, so I have another business project trying to get going, but so, yeah.
I was wondering, what's the launch cost for the app and website that you're currently?
So right now, I just need $5,000 to like get the basics going. So like just the developing of the app and like the marketing. So that's where it's at, $5,000.
And that'll cover the application website.
Yeah.
I have a question, if you can please go back to the second slide.
The inspiration one.
The one after.
This one.
Yeah, this one. I think this first paragraph is the strongest point in your proposal. It's a very good one.
Thank you.
Because in your case, you are not hoping for a market, you are depending on an actual existing market.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a very strong selling point for your proposal. But I have a question. What the NEA stands for? You don't have a separate section for the resources.
Oh, sorry.
So
Is the national like education?
association?
Yeah.
Something? Oh, okay. Yeah, and the other one is Rental Housing Journal.
Yeah.
But what you need to add to this paragraph is to make sure the two resources are talking about the same market, the same geographical location. For example, the second information that the 20% of landlords
This
deal,
one?
yeah, this could be talking about, for example, Texas.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the first one talking about the suffering of the teachers in Wisconsin, you know what I mean? So you need
Yes,
to
sir.
show how these both are in the same geographical location.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so, but this is very strong point about your proposal, so you should capitalize more on it. Yeah, and just make sure they are both about the same area. Do you have a reason to believe they talk about the same area or the same market? Are they both, for example, national, America-wide?
Yeah, I think so. Because yeah, it's just like data from the U.S. and like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just be more explicit about
Yeah.
it, because some of the statistics are even not on the state level. They could be a small region within the state,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So just make sure you share that explicitly.
Yes, sir.
This is one thing. Second is, there was a section about resource assessment, which is like what you expect this to cost you, whether to develop the app or to,
Oh, the pricing of like how
yeah, how much it will cost you to start it.
to
These are
start.
the resources. So I don't see a section for that in your submission, so you,
No, I put that. It's in my business plan, but I was like trying to keep my slides short and like better presentation.
sure.
But
And the last one is what Robert asked you earlier about what inspires you. You share now the inspiration, but there was a section in the proposal about the team. In this case, you are the whole team, right? So
basically,
it asks you, yeah, to show what is personally about you that makes you encouraged for this project. Yeah, so it would be a good point for you if you also add it, because at least I don't remember reading it. Now you share it as a slide in the inspiration, but in your written submission, I don't see it.
okay, in my pitch or like
Yeah. In the proposal you submitted,
okay, yeah.
the written proposal, I don't see the inspiration part. At least I don't remember reading it.
Yeah, I don't think I added it. It's just
Because there was a whole section about it called team. For others who are teams, each one of them should explain what would make them personally interested in this. In your case, it's only reporting about yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it should be there. I think also your financial projection is a very good one. So you provided some convincing numbers about the costs and the potential revenues, and so I think that was also a very good point.
Thank you.
Sure.
Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we have a 20-minute break now, so. Okay. Next one is at 9:35. This is Donkey Deliveries. This.
Hi judges, thank you for being here to witness our business proposal. I'm Reed Weller, and these are my fellow donkeys, Richard Lawrence and Liam Joyce. We are coming up from Silverton, Colorado to share with you our delivery business idea called Donkey Delivery. In the early 1900s, donkeys were used for transportation and a delivery service. We're bringing this idea back with the help of the 21st century technology, with that being e-bikes or e-trikes. Some of the reasons is because they're eco-friendly options and they're also cost efficient. They also help with speed and efficiency on summer days when our local train comes in and tourists fill up our roads, which affects our ability to drive through the busy roads. They also help on the holidays when we can make the most profit because the town will be the most busy then. And then, why does Silverton need this? Because we have three main user groups. The first one being seniors. Roughly 20% of our population is seniors. Many of them have limited mobility, which makes it hard to get to our grocery store, let alone all the way over the steep, windy passes to Durango. After these people, we have our local families in Silverton. The businesses here are really open a very limited amount of time throughout the day, and this could help our local families by scheduling a delivery while they're at work, and this could be done through our easily accessible app. Our focus on locals fills a critical service gap that has yet to be addressed. And then our last one is tourists. For example, I'll put a picture into your mind. A family from Texas just came back from exploring our big mountains in Silverton. They get back and they want to just lay back, relax, have a fire, but they're hungry. Who are you gonna call? Donkey Delivery.
How does donkey delivery work? It's actually quite simple. We would take your order from a digital menu and prioritize it, delivery driver, route, and order. For example, our family from Texas that has been out in the backcountry all day, and they are very tired. There are kids who want pizza, and the rest want tacos, but they also need a gallon of milk from the grocery store. They enter their order into our donkey delivery app, and we get notified and we prioritize the order info and directions. The whole transaction happened digitally, so I just show up and drop off the order. Quick, efficient, easy, and convenient. Our flat rate delivery fee minimizes cash transactions and simplifies everything for everyone. We will need to develop key partnerships with local businesses and organizations to ensure we provide the best services to our customers. Some of our key partnerships will be with the RV parks, campgrounds, and grocery store, restaurants, hotels, and retail stores. We will have incentive for locals since they will be our returning customers. We will focus marketing efforts in the summer on high traffic tourist areas like hotels and RV parks.
We will be working with local businesses to increase their business and ours. A lot of restaurants in our town also have limited seating, and delivery will increase their capacity and business and creates a win-win scenario. This business is going to bring serious value to our community by filling a gap that has been there for decades. Silverton hasn't had a delivery service in many years and might not have ever had one. This business is also going to have a very low cost startup at around $5,000 and a very low overhead cost and operating cost. That will help maximize our revenue. Having a locally based delivery service rather than a large corporation like Uber Eats or Grubhub will help keep the money in our local economy and give people the chance to support a local business. For our first year of business, we have outlined a number of project milestones as a way to reach our targeted revenue. Our first milestone is going to establish our business foundation. This would include setting up our business license, insurance, and only necessary permits we would need. Our next milestone would be to acquire our e-bike fleet. We will be purchasing 2 e-trikes. These will be equipped with a basket on the back to put our warming bags in to make sure the food is nice and hot. We decided on e-bikes instead of traditional vehicles because they have lower operational and maintenance costs, and they require no license and no registration. It's not only environmentally friendly, but it's also financially beneficial to our business. Our financial milestone is to set up the Donkey Delivery app and solidify our partnerships with other local businesses to expand both of our marketing opportunities. Our financial projections are realistic because we anticipate having fluctuations in our sales for the first and fourth quarters of the year. Because these are generally slower times for business of the year, we expect to make our largest sales in the second and third quarters of the year. We expect modest to small growth in our first 5 years of sales and revenue. This will allow us to establish our local customer base while building our marketing structure towards our tourist users. In conclusion, it's worth investing in Donkey Deliveries because it's convenient, it fills the market, it supports the local economy, it's eco-friendly, and it has a low startup and overhead cost. And more importantly, it kicks ass. Thank you for listening to our presentation today. We'd love to answer any of your questions.
So I just have a question. How are you guys wanting to kind of like pursue business all year round or just during times of like certain seasons?
We're kind of thinking more summer seasons because we do have school, so we kind of have to go to that.
And then what did you say the current cost for one bike is?
It's around $2,000 to $3,000.
So with the 5,000, you guys could probably outfit 2, and then
Yes.
one person takes order, and then
Yeah.
the other 2 out delivery. Okay, very cool.
Real quick, I just kind of wanted to add, thank you guys for presenting. The one thing I would give you guys kind of like a note was with your guys' PowerPoint or the presentation, it was kind of all over the place. It was a little bit distracting while you guys were kind of going through some of the talking points, and just maybe in the future, if whenever you guys want to kind of do another presentation, to kind of have it more tailored to where you guys are kind of going with the flow of things, so that way we can kind of look at kind of accurately like here and then look at what you guys are talking about as well. Yeah.
Gotcha, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I have just a couple of notes to share with you and some questions. So first of all, what's the relationship between the name and the service?
Well,
I mean, the donkey part, does that supposed to signify something about your service?
well, Silverton used to use donkeys or mules as delivery, so we're kind of bringing that back, but not with
Ah,
donkeys.
they used to?
Yeah, they used to.
Ah, okay.
They don't anymore.
It's how they would get up to like the mines, if they were like bringing food up there or anything, they just like haul it up by donkey or
Yeah,
mule.
I was thinking like, are they signifying that the bike is gonna be moving in like steepy roads or something which is similar to what a donkey can do, you know? I was just speculating because I don't see the direct link. But yeah, it's nice to mention that explicitly, like, this town used to depend on donkeys to do that. We cannot use donkeys anymore, but we still use something that's as environmental friendly as the donkey, you know? But the name is catchy and I like it. So I have a couple of notes about the parts of the business proposal, and the 2 points are kind of linked. The first one is about you guys as a team. You know that in the business proposal you're supposed to describe how you personally get to be interested. Like, what about something about your character or personal experiences that make you interested in this? And also, what's going to be your role in the these are 2 points you need to discuss them under the teams section. Yeah, I think this could have take more explanations from your side. Yeah, and the second part is about the marketing plan. So, simply speaking, like if we are investors and you want to convince us to give you our money, we are not rich, so you don't have to stress about convincing us. But if you are actually speaking to a real investor, then how you can assure them that there will be a market for this service and they should feel safe to give you their money? What makes you guys believe that there will be enough market to I will not say guarantee, but to make it highly possible that you will make profits? You know, you need market to make profits.
Yes.
So yeah, so can you reconclude, like, why do you think there will be enough market to justify or to explain that you guys gotta make profit?
Yeah, like as we said in the presentation, we have a lot of older people in Silverton, like senior citizens, and a lot of the times, since we get such big winners, it's hard for them to leave their homes, get food, go to the grocery store. We often have like people from the public health service like delivering food to them, but this will make it easier, faster, people aren't available. We also, like, if somebody just gave birth to like a child and they were like, oh, we need this, but like, oh, we're out of town, don't want to go there, all this, we just bring it right to them.
Okay, so that's for the older or senior?
Yeah, senior citizens and like new parents or like.
Right,
really-
and for the other sections of your market, the tourists are also expected market for you, right?
Yes.
I read that in your proposal. So, what I'm just saying is that you just need to be a bit more explicit about this and support it with numbers, you know? Like, for example, let me be the devil advocate for a moment and say it's a little town. I visited last summer. It's actually beautiful and cartoonish, you know, it's kind of unreal. At least this is how I think of it. But let's say, for example, someone may tell you that this is a very small town. It's not that much distance, so why do you think they may need the service, you know? You may have very good justification for that. I'm not giving you conclusions. I'm just giving questions that an outsider would ask, you know? So you will be prepared to answer them. Someone may say it's all flat and it's like within 2 miles maybe from the 2 further points from each other is less than 2 miles, right? So usually that makes it a very less troubling issue than if you provide this service in a metropolitan city, right? Where the distances are big and they could be a barrier. So your ways to prove this and strengthen your proposal is to find some statistics, like, first of all, this is the number of potential senior customers. You may have, from the town authorities, you may have some statistics that give you what percentage are seniors, you know? Then if there is any tourism authority, I don't know if there is any tourism authority at that small level, or you guys are bigger from a part of a bigger space like URA, or I don't know. But usually any public authority responsible for tourism, they may give you some statistics on what is the average number of guests coming in different seasons, you know? So that will be a strong base to prove your point, you know?
Yes.
But when you keep it general, it's kind of hard to prove the point. So support it with numbers from authentic resources. This is one thing. And second, you may prove that there are, for example, potential 10,000 guests coming every summer season. You may have some evidence from previous data to prove that part. But then your mission is not finished. You have to prove that these guests or these tourists, or at least enough percent of them, is actually interested in what you're providing. Okay? Maybe I'm a guest or I'm a tourist, but you know, this is a beautiful little town and I want to walk in it. It's not a big deal for me to go get my groceries together. you know? I'm just trying to challenge your assumption so you see how you can respond to these potential arguments, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think you have a good point in your proposal when you say that they come already from a long walk in the mountains and they are already tired. So that's kind of convincing point. But it's not enough alone. You need to add something more to prove that you will not completely prove, but at least to give some convincing evidence that they're gonna actually need the service, you know? Maybe one way to do that is to interview some of them, okay? Because that's, in this case, it's a data, it's facts, not you imagining, right? If you interview some of them, then that's a very strong support for your point. So yeah, that's my main point about the marketing, is to bring some facts from other sources by speaking to the guests themselves, you know. You need to make sure that this is convincing and there will be no objections to it. But all in all, I think it's a very nice idea, and I kind of envy someone who may do this actually for a living, because it looks so fun, you know. Biking and in that little town, for me, this is a lot of fun. I don't know. So, thank you very much. These are my notes.
Thank you.
One more question. How are you guys currently marketing for this? Are you like doing like phone calls, website, app, or?
An app.
An app,
Yeah,
okay.
we wanna read.
And is that something you guys already have developed, or is that kind of going
We need
towards?
to get it developed, but
Gotcha.
we have a plan.
Perfect. So bikes, then app, and then, or app and then bikes?
Apps and then bikes.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Kick-ass idea, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, sure. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
founder and team leader of Roadrunner Mobile.
My name is Mike Williams. I am co-founder and motorcycle tech detailer.
Hello, my name is Brock Ethan Hackett. I'm a motorcycle tech detailer along with Micah and a co-owner.
Here at Roadrunner Mobile, we're wanting to give Durango, Colorado a really well-known and well-known detailer because I've done the research and I've taken a look around. The only other place here in town that does motorcycle detailing and like strictly motorcycle detailing would be our local Harley shop. And even with the Harley shop, they don't have any mobile crews. They don't have anything kind of like that. And so that's why here with Roadrunner Mobile, we want to give Durango a really convenient kind of spot on mobile crew to go to any customer's desired locations. And kind of talking about the expenses, with the $8,000 that we'd be winning from the competition, we would be putting at least half of it towards a vehicle. And we were looking online, found a little truck for about $4,000, and we'd be putting around $800 to $900 more of it for the top high-end detailing supplies from the Harley shop and O'Reilly's and AutoZone. We'd also be using some of the money to get our business up and going with business cards and trying to set up advertisement with possible hotels, restaurants, just seeing how many motorcycle riders do come in to Durango each year. We feel like it could be a really big success, and seeing how many people are just like, okay, we have the issue of having a dirty motorcycle, but we're not really wanting to clean it. And not only that, we may not even have the time to clean it. So we can have Roadrunner Mobile be at your location, on your time, getting your ride ready to ride on your time. Brock?
Sorry. What do you think of when you think of Durango, Colorado? Personally, I like to think of the $1 Million Highway, the beautiful, stunning mountain views, the kind of annoying touristy towns, and most of all, in my opinion, the motorcyclists that come riding through. That got me thinking, how many motorcycles come through Durango? And we did the research and we learned that there's seemingly too much to count, really. We looked on multiple different sites and we couldn't find any estimation on how many come through here monthly or yearly. So we decided that that's a great hook. So yeah, there's too much to even, I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's where Roadrunner Mobile comes in. Let's be honest, nobody really likes to clean their bike. Even if it's just from dirt and grime from everyday riding, it piles up. And before you know it, your bike looks pretty rough. We want to start this because we saw a need. Riders everywhere love their bike, but keeping them clean, that's the part nobody's excited about. Our goal is simple. Make your bike so clean that you don't want to go back to the old way you did it, whether you did it yourself or went to a traditional detailer. We're talking about next level convenience and cleaning. The kind where you see your reflection in the frame and feel the same way you did when you first bought it. We are not some big company with a long waiting list or just doing basic rinsing jobs. We're a mobile crew for riders that need a convenient and reliable clean. We are going to use top quality detailing supplies and tools for high-end motorcycles. We clean every part, frame, drivetrain, and wheels, and we don't rush it. We are going to take time and put effort into what we do, and we want you to feel the same way you did when you first got it. And it's not just about cleaning bikes. It's about giving you more time to ride, less time worrying about the mess. It's making your bike last longer and making it look awesome while doing it. And let's be real, there's something about pulling up to a ride with the cleanest bike there. At Roadrunner Mobile, we would be proud to be Durango's first mobile detailing crew. We're all about keeping things simple, local, and real. No middlemen, no shops, just a couple of people who care about your bikes, or care about bikes and want to make yours shine.
Kind of talking about the competition again here in Durango. we've come to really kind of notice with the Harley shop, they've talked to us even then saying, okay, if this business plan works out, if you guys do end up winning, we're more than willing to support you guys with maybe not only like maybe like kind of base location, if that makes sense, for some people who want to go see what we are doing. And they've also kind of just talked about hey, helping us with supplies, since we'd be buying everything in bulk. We'd be getting a discount from them. And with the school we're going to at Big Picture, I'm an intern at the Harley shop. So that's been a really big thing that's been kind of like keeping me up and going, and haven't necessarily like the drive to do this and to bring this company into Durango to see how many motorcycle enthusiasts there are who can help support. But is there anything you guys want to add on to that?
Not really.
That's
Thank you guys. Really fast, thank you, great, good job, guys, and I like the idea that you guys have partnerships lined up. I mean, that seems like a really good, solid idea. I was just curious, how much would you charge for a bike cleaning service?
Standardly at the Harley shop, they would charge initially 160 to 170, and that's just for basic on-site detailing. That's just nothing going too deep into it. We were wanting to charge around the same, and since we're going to be like a mobile crew, we're going to charge around the same, just because that's on top of gas. That's on top of maybe how far away you are. We were also wanting to charge maybe a little bit extra, around $180 to $200, in case if it's someone who's out in Bayfield, out in Pagosa, maybe even Farmington, for example, just in like a 75 to a 90-mile radius of Durango. Just so not only it could help us out with the gas money, it could help us out with like employee lunch, just minimal things like that. We were also talking about doing discounts, like for veterans, since there's so many veteran Harley riders here in town, and not only that, just here in the state. We were gonna do a $64 bike ride for them. We were gonna partner with the Harley shop and go with like the motorcycle rallies and do $80, like quick $80 bike washes there, just so it can help out with supplies, can help us just spread out our word.
Awesome. There's a real follow-up. How long does it take you guys to actually clean and wash and detail?
A full detail, it could take 30 minutes to an hour, depending on what all really needs to be done. So if we're going into you and say if you just have just mass amounts of bug debris, if you have just clumps of dirt, dust, all that, scratches, any swirls, we have products that will get rid of those scratches and swirls, and it may take just a little bit extra time, and we may have to rewash your bike a couple extra times so it can look just pristine.
Awesome, thank you.
I have just a real quick question. So as far as like marketing and things like that, I know that the bike culture is really prominent in Ignacio.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
And how would you guys would kind of like market to them, people that are like kind of old school in a sense, where they kind of detail and do their own rides? How would you kind of like set yourself apart and say, hey, we can do it for you and do it for an affordable price?
I would kind of set them aside, be like, hey, we could come to your desired location anytime you want, and instead of having the hassle, since we know some people may have a little bit harder of a time cleaning their motorcycle, just the up and down bending and just getting with those lower, harder to reach areas, we could be there and just giving you that best cutting edge detail. And I guess in other words, how I'd kind of sell it to them would be, out of all the years you have been riding on a motorcycle, essentially, I'm trying to make this in a way make sense. Out of all the years you've been riding, what's the cleanest your bike has been, in a way? Or how clean have you seen your bike? And can we show you, or can we like provide that cleanness that you're looking for, if that makes sense?
Gotcha. Another thing too, I was gonna ask, so you guys, if let's say they needed you guys for a rally that they're gonna have, like a bike rally, and they just basically want you guys to upkeep it for the 2 days that they're doing it, or the one, How would you guys kind of facilitate that? How would you guys charge for that?
We'd be there just essentially, we could also, we could charge it either with the partnership, be like, okay, if you're wanting us here, helping you guys out, we could have a little station here, we could maybe have a little pop-up tent where you could have people come in. We could give them a rundown on what we do, and we could wash their bike, and then with the Rileys, so I know the Harley shop, they'll have tents, they'll have little booths set up along, and in the very back, they'll have their wash bay area.
Yeah.
We could even have a station in there for when the rally happens, like, okay, if you want something a little extra, you can go to the back and have your bike washed for minimal price.
Gotcha. And just kind of a follow-up on that, let's say, for example, I need, while you guys are there during that time, and I call you guys and say, hey, I need my bike washed today. Can you do it right now? Or how do you guys kind of structure it out? Do you guys kind of
We
have a
would
set
structure
schedule?
it
or you
out
guys
by
just do
talking,
it
we talk
on call?
between ourselves, essentially talk
Okay.
about, okay, who right now is able to go out and do it, and, that's just pretty much the biggest thing, who's able to go out and do it. And with starting out with the three of us, we were gonna try and get at least 2 extra people on hand, just so we could have a possible maybe 2 mobile crews here in town, just so in case one's a little bit extra busy, we can hand it off to the next.
Gotcha.
Okay, so you remind us your first names again?
My name's Ryan, this is Micah, and this is Brock.
Ryan, Micah, and Brock? Yeah, I'd like to hear from Micah and Brock some more. So first of all, you know, the idea of this competition is that we are the judges now, right? But if you actually want to make it a real business, you need to speak to investors, right? This will have millions of dollars, not only $5,000. And the basic assumption is that the investor want to make sure that you're gonna use their money in a way that generates profits, right?
Yes, sir.
So I think you guys mentioned that in your written proposal that you have some connections, some family members, you are very close to owners of bikes. So I see how you come to interest in it. But I would like you to keep in mind that this is kind of luxurious or special interest. That's not necessarily everybody's worry or everybody's understanding, you know what I mean? And there is a very good chance that the investors never rode a motorbike themselves, you know? So you speak to outsiders, including me, I'm an outsider to this, you know? So you guys have to explain a lot of things and not keep them implicit, because you know a lot of things, but the listener doesn't know. So you need to be pretty much explicit about anything. So from there, I wanna go to a point about the market, you know. Imagine that your business is medications, okay? Imagine that you are a company that produces medications, or a company that produces baby formula. Do you think, Brooke, there will be a big trouble for you to prove that your product is needed?
No.
Because if it's a baby formula and the mom can't breastfeed, it's a matter of life and death for the baby, right?
Yeah.
So you are relieved from the burden of proving that your product is needed, right?
Yeah.
Or if you produce and sell insulin injections, do you think a diabetic person have the luxury of saying, no, I don't want your product? It's a matter of life and death, right? In your case, this product, it's a service more than a product. It's pretty much luxurious, right? Right?
If you have
First
the
of all,
money, you'd
what
go.
percent of the population own motorbikes? And for those who own it, what percent of them interested in decorated, you know? I'm not saying, again, because I'm an outsider, I don't want to be harsh because I'm talking about something I can't relate to, right? So I can't speak from the perspective of an owner who maybe find it very important, you know? But I'm just saying that the investors are not the owner of the bike. So the investor have to be convinced that the bikers actually care about this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a friend, her name is Harley, and I asked her like, how you come to have this name? And she said her dad was so crazy about the motorbike, he named her Harley. You know Harley, the coordinator in our department. So it could be very important for the owners of the bikes, but for the outsider, which is mostly your investors, you have to prove for them that this is something matters in the cultures of the bikers community, you know, that my bike is this detailed and your bike is that, you know? Yeah. So you have to prove that. You have to prove that by first of all saying what's the number of motorbikes owners who are here most of the time, you know, the residents. And then is there, you guys mentioned a seasonal event when bikers come here seasonally? Yeah, you need some statistics on that. Which time of the year they come and what's their number, you know? So you need some statistics to prove that. I know from your personal experience, you feel there's a lot of them and you may easily prove it. But again, it was not said explicitly here.
Yeah.
So for someone who's far from this field, there is still a gap need to be filled, you know?
Yeah.
So just be so explicit about it. You wanna say something?
Adding on to what you were kind of saying just now, with like how many people are in Durango or just in general who are on bikes who come through. I was reading an article that one year Durango had a little over 10,000 motorcycle riders come through one September for the bike rally.
Okay.
And with there being that many people, I know, yeah, it's understandable. We can't do all 10,000 within that whole
Right.
month or just that full, but we can at least make a change and a difference to a small fraction of that number to spread out our word to maybe end up doing that full 10,000.
Right. If you wanna have a very strong case that this business should be established, then you should give very detailed information about the market. If it's seasonal, then you shouldn't be working the whole year round. You should be only there during the season. If there is a steady market all the year round, then you should prove who they are, you know? Because, yeah, you may have 10,000 for a couple of months, let's say. How about the rest of the year? What your business is gonna be doing, you know? Whatever, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. You guys know better what's the answers for this. But I'm just saying, these are the issues, you need to have them clearly explained. Another point is under the goals in your submission, you said my goal. First of all, I see my and sometimes we. So I think you guys can work on these and speak on the team voice. You know? But anyway, here under the goal, one of you wrote, my goal for my business would be to have at least 100 people a day. And the reason I say that is so I can have 20 people in an in-person shop and my mobile crew with 40 people. Okay, it sounds like a hope more than a fact, you know? And when you are the sellers, you hope to have 1,000, not only 100. But the hope is not going to convince an investor. You need to tell them, like, for example, let's say there are 10,000 owners. I know there's not, but just for example. And almost 20 of them may come a day or a week. But this number sounds, at least without supported with other information, without other context, this number sounds so off the chart, you know? So you need to bring it to a number that you can prove. You may be able to prove the 100, but there was no effort made to prove why we should expect that 100, you know? So do you have any reason for
Yeah, talking about that 100 people, and this is also kind of adding with that like 90-mile radius around, kind of go working year round with Farmington, you can see almost up to 100 people a day on motorcycles because with the weather down there, it almost never snows, and when it does, it doesn't last a day. And with the rain, I mean, there's still even people who ride in the rain. And why I say say we'll have 20 people come into an in-person shop, just because I know there's not going to be a whole lot of people throughout the weeks because everyone's going to be neither working or people are going to be neither too busy to bring it in. And that's why we can also be working over the weekends too, just so we can have our mobile crews and the in-person crews just still keeping busy at the same time. And I'm also, in a way, trying to bring up how we can have the people that come in, there's not gonna be as many as versus people wanting us to go to them.
Okay.
Hence the reason why I say that we're gonna have around 40 or so people for our mobile cruise, and that could not only be set here in Durango, but that could also be 40 people Farmington, 40 people Bayfield, 40 people Pagosa, 40 people here. Same difference with the in-person crew. We could have, say, 20 people coming from Bayfield, 20 from Durango, 20 from Pagosa, Farmington.
Okay, now the fact that you are serving an audience that is 90 miles away in each direction, that may help you prove that you have a bigger customer base. But you know, that also raises another issue, which is the capacity of your business to provide the service. How many people you have to send them to serve 40 other people, you know?
Yeah.
Specifically that each one, as you guys mentioned, it takes almost an hour, a bit less than an hour, right? So that means 40 hours, right? How many people do you have to serve 40 other people, you know?
I was gonna try and round it out to maybe 4 to 8 people, just so we could have 2 to 4 of them at an in-person shop, and then 4 to maybe more with our mobile crews, just so we can have those people working on those amount of bikes in that time span, so we can just have that a bigger customer base.
Right, because since this is the case, then you should have a lot of details about what's the average traveling time for your people, for your workers to travel from Durango to that other location. What's the average time it takes? And what's the average time it takes to finish a bike? And how many of them there will be, you know? Because when you saw 40, I was thinking at least if there are 40 in one town, this may make sense. You send the fleet of your workers to that town. But then I was thinking, how about if there are 5 in Farmington and then another 5 in Uray, right?
Yeah.
Just think of the traveling time, how much they will spend just to arrive to the customer, leave alone the time needed to finish it. So there will be a lot of details need to be discussed about your capacity to prove that number of 100 people, because that number, I think it's for a much bigger company than a newly established one. So you may start with 20 people a day.
Yeah.
And think of the 100 as the goal you want to achieve a few years from now, you know?
Yeah.
And by the way, none of the investors expect you guys to make profits from the first year. I think, Michael, if you attend the events, the several sessions that Dr. Valdez was providing, he was saying that until almost your 3rd year, no one expects you to make profits. The investors will be more satisfied if you are harsh and pessimistic in your expectations rather than feed them with illusions, you know?
Yeah.
They would say that this person know what they are talking about, this person is not trying to mistakenly impress us, you know, or falsely impress us by giving like big claims or big expectations, you know?
Delusional dreams.
So yeah, it may serve you if you are more humble or if you want a bit pessimistic.
Yeah.
By pessimistic, I don't mean to lose hope. I just mean count for the worst scenario.
Yes, sir.
That supports your case more than showing that it's gonna be highly profitable from day one, you know, because in real life this is almost impossible. Yeah, but again, all of what I'm saying, you may have details to respond to it, but because I'm an outsider, I didn't know it, and it's your job as the guys who are very close to this to give all these details explicitly. So I hope this is not too much, but I think this is very important point to be addressed. Thank you.
And real quick though, guys, one thing I wanted to kind of commend you guys had a very good business plan in terms of how the way it was organized and detailed. I would have, just for this presentation alone, it would have been really nice if you guys could have had like a PowerPoint to that as well. That visual aid, the way you guys had it structured would have like, really helped immensely as well with the way you guys were articulating and talking about some certain points, and just to have some of that visual aid of course the bikes you've done on there as well would have been nice as well. Just kind of in the future for the presentations.
Kind of talking about like the bikes that I have done. I know I don't have a visual up here, but I did start a business account on Instagram that do have pictures of motorcycles that I have detailed. And the Instagram account is road_mobile_runner_mobile. So if you wanna check that out, we have photos on there that are up and going.
And final note, I think you guys did a very good job for the milestones. The milestones were well detailed and convincing, at least for me.